we are back with the American invasion of the English football pyramid, as I'm leading it as the head of St. Louis City, having progressed with LAFC to League Two. This episode, I'm going to introduce a new look to how these episodes are going to play out, where I'm going to just update by giving game highlights, the goals, and to see how this experiment is playing out and the team is doing. So this will take us through the month of November to see the progress we've made, starting with the FA Cup first round against Accrington. This game proved to be the Matty Longstaff show. As we see here, he orchestrated the offense with not one, not two, as we're seeing him again pull off here, but 3 assists in this game. The first 2 being to Kellyman, and then our main man, Kloss, slotting home the third goal after a beautifully played goal with Longstaff back and forth. We finished the game off 4-1, but unfortunately our midfield leader, Alan Campbell, came away with fractured ribs, shelving him for 3 to 4 weeks as we sent him to see a specialist. Next up, we were back in the league with a trip to Exeter, where the offense again hummed along behind the domination of Kloss as he put away the first 2 goals off set pieces here. Beautifully done. He's been dominating on the corners. Now, after that, Kian Best with an amazing drive from the left back position for the 3rd goal. And finally, we had a 4th goal with Kellyman, who having a great start to the month of November, continuing his good run of form, putting away the 4th goal for us. Exeter does get a consolation goal late on in the 81st minute in what was a fairly even game as far as shots go, but we dominated possession throughout. The third game was a trip to Leyton Orient, where the captain, Chris Durkin, coming back, getting the start for the injured Campbell, banged home the first goal. And then, in what proved to be one of our lowest scoring affairs, he orchestrated the assist for the 2nd goal, so playing the captain's role perfectly as Alm slots home the goal. That was all there was to this, as the defense performed well for a clean sheet on this one, which has been a bit of a rare thing for this team over the past couple of seasons. Now, the road trip that we were on continued in the Bristol City Street Motors Trophy against Cheltenham. The dominating form we've been on continued as we took an early lead after the back and forth. The interception by Aziel Jackson, beautiful strike from outside of the box to pick up his 6th goal of the season. Before Kellyman continuing his amazing month, getting home another goal, 3rd of the month. And then we have, after that, leading it in, and Durkin taking the most of this opportunity he has, being back in the team, scoring for a 2nd straight game from midfield to round it out before we saw a relatively straightforward second half, seeing again, as usual, Cheltenham getting a goal. Then our 5th match saw us at home finally against bottom of table Morecambe, as we look to continue to build the gap in our quest to move on up the pyramid to League One. LAFC doing the same, sitting in 3rd. This one proved to be quite a dismantling. It's going to be a 5-0 dismantling, and we're going to see Kellyman is going to continue his super hot start to the month, striking home another goal, 4 for 4 in these goals. Are doing an amazing job. Jackson scoring again for the 2nd game in a row, sliding it home on the header. And then what was exciting about this game is after some substitutions in the second half, we get to see some first-time goal scorers with Ryan Boone, a young teenager midfielder who's gotten a couple of appearances, but now brings his first goal home in front of the home crowd. And then another teenager getting his first goal, Kyle Thomas, is going to do that after Alm doing his thing like he's done the past couple of seasons. But this one was exciting with Thomas just laying it right in for his first goal as well, joining Boone, 2 teenagers getting their first goals for the club, completing the dismantling that it was, which was fitting, giving us where we were in the first versus them in last, being at home. Then we had another home game against Walsall in the league, where once again, this will be of no surprise the way November's been going. Kellyman with a beautiful strike, continuing to dominate the month of November. Then we had another teenager get his first goal for the club after Kellyman brought home a second goal for us. But then on the corner kick, Ashby sending it in. Sanchez, another teenager, a defender this time, getting his first goal. So this is a good sign for our future as we continue this with these new gens that we brought in. Then another good sign, another teenager, Mendez, who's been quiet this season, getting on the score sheet with a beautiful strike after intercepting the poorly played pass, which sees us again, of course, conceding a goal, but a 4-1 dismantling at home. Beautifully done. Continuing a fantastic month as we get into the back part of it. We then took a trip to MK Dons, where this one proved to be a tighter affair. Much more difficult match coming up. So you see again on the corner kick, Klaus just towering above. Now we do see there's a little injury to Jackson, which is a little disconcerting. But then DePietro, who's got a little bit of a run going, gets his first goal of the season. He's been getting more playing time as of late due to different injuries and international call-ups. Our loanee, Dewberry, finding Campbell, who's rejoining us after his injury, seeing him back in. Now, unfortunately, after this 3-1, which MK Dons actually did make it a little tight on us, the bad news out of this one, after congratulating the group on a well-played match and seeing us further our lead, is, as you will see, Aziel Jackson with a calf strain is going to be out until the new year. So that puts us in a little bit of a bind on the wing, but we have the depth that we can make up for that. Then the month came to a close as we went to face Doncaster, where the good news was Mendez getting on the score sheet again for the second time in the third match, continuing to show the promise. Unfortunately, this one, surprisingly, in the 59th minute, Doncaster equalized, and it took us until the 87th minute before Kean Best ending the month the way he started it, making a beautiful goal to bring home the victory, to continue to see this climb. This one ended up being much tighter than the statistics showed. We did miss our second penalty as well of the month, so that's a little bit of a concern to go along with it. So that brings us to the end of the month. It's time to check on our standings, on how the American MLS teams are doing. As you can see, we are at the top, building a nice, comfortable lead. And LAFC with a game in hand on us, but 2 on their nearest opponents, look like they're finding their footing just fine and will be climbing up the table with us, I hope. I don't want to be up there by ourselves already. I want to see the American teams continue to grow if we can. Now we're going to take a look at how the other ones are doing, starting with the Vanarama National League, where we have 6 American teams. And as expected, all 6 of them are going to be at the top of the table. There is a bit of a gap strength building up. New England looks like they are in charge, might be leading the way, but hopefully 2 of these teams will be climbing up out of this league. Then, next up, we got to check out the Vanarama National League North, which only one team, Columbus, is still in this one due to the realignments going on. Doing what's expected, they are in first with only 1 match has been dropped, 1 loss. So that takes us to the south, where it's much more crowded with 20 American teams duking it out. Huge gap, 25-8 above relegation, so there's no threat there. But who is going to get out? And as you see, Inter Miami, we do have them at the top, so let's check in on Lionel Messi. But I don't see him anywhere on the team. So that's interesting. And it looks like he hasn't been shipped off anywhere or sold. So I wonder if he's retired. It's probably likely that he did because I don't see him anywhere on here. Huh. Well, they're finally winning without Messi. Interesting. Okay. Well, that brings us to a beautiful November where we set the record for most consecutive wins, and we are looking to build on that as we go into December. We have a Motors Trophy match coming up against the Arsenal under-21s, and then we've got quite a bit in League Two. We're continuing this great run as we see to the end of the season. League Two, there'll be an FA Cup third-round draw coming up soon. Hopefully we can get somebody that will show us where we're at. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.